In this debased and wretched world, full of destitution and want, for the first time I thought that a beam of sunshine had shone upon my life. But alas, this was not a beam of sunshine. It was a flicker of light. Hello, I'm Ridley Park, working with Philosophics on a more verbose review of The Blind Owl. The Blind Owl is a novella written by Iranian author Sadeq Hedayat. It has fewer than 100 pages, so this review might turn out longer than the book. Just kidding. Sort of. I've already summarized this book at a high level, but I don't feel I gave it justice, so here I am, moving down from the clouds and into the weeds. There will be spoilers if there are such things in a book of this nature. I first read the book in British English and reread it in American English. I also listened to the audiobook. I was unable to get a French version, La Chouette Aveugle, at a decent price. The Blind Owl occupies a unique position in Persian literature, straddling Eastern and Western literary traditions. Published in 1937, it stands as an early existentialist work, predating many of the classic Western existentialist novels. Hedayat, having spent time in France, was influenced by the emerging existentialist movement, including thinkers like Sartre and Camus, whose major works were yet to be published. The novella's themes of alienation, absurdity, and the search for meaning in a seemingly meaningless world align closely with existentialist philosophy. The narrator's statement, "What was frightening was that I felt I was neither completely alive nor completely dead," echoes the existentialist concept of living in a state of limbo or bad faith. However, Hedayat doesn't simply transplant Western ideas into a Persian setting. He skillfully weaves in elements of Persian and Indian mysticism, creating a unique hybrid. The recurring motif of the cypress tree, for instance, draws on Persian symbolism, while the nag serpent references Indian mythology. The Blind Owl was initially banned in Iran due to its dark themes and perceived critique of Iranian society. Its publication in Bombay and its circulation in limited mimeographed copies in Iran created an aura of forbidden knowledge around the work. This contributed to its cult status and its reputation as a dangerous book that could drive readers to suicide. The Blind Owl was published originally in the Persian language, also known as Farsi. In the context of Persian literature, The Blind Owl represented a radical departure from traditional forms and themes. Its stream of consciousness style, non-linear narrative, and explicit exploration of taboo subjects marked it as a modernist work in a literary culture still dominated by classical forms. The novella's influence extends beyond Iran. It's considered one of the most important literary works of 20th century Iran and has been translated into numerous languages. Its blend of Eastern and Western elements, along with its pioneering exploration of existentialist themes, secures its place as a significant work of world literature. The story was published by Hedayat in Bombay in 1937. He unalives himself in 1951 by carbon monoxide poisoning in Paris, so this story may be taken as a foreshadowing of this event. The Blind Owl is narrated by a profoundly unreliable protagonist, whose account is coloured by his opium addiction, alcoholism, and deteriorating mental state. This unreliability is central to the novella's structure and themes, creating a narrative landscape where reality and illusion are inextricably intertwined. The narrator's unreliability manifests in several ways. Inconsistent recollections, he often contradicts himself or expresses uncertainty about events, distorted perceptions. His descriptions often blur the line between reality and hallucination, as seen in his vision of the ethereal woman. Fragmented timeline. His narration jumps erratically between past and present, further disorienting the reader. Questionable agency. He frequently denies responsibility for his actions, attributing them to external forces. This unreliability challenges the reader's interpretation of events, contributing to a pervasive sense of disorientation reminiscent of Kafka's works. As the story progresses, the accounts become increasingly untenable, forcing the reader to question everything that has been narrated. The narrator himself acknowledges his unreliability. "I no longer trust anything." This admission serves to further destabilize the narrative, leaving the reader in a state of perpetual uncertainty. By employing an unreliable narrator, Hedayat creates a narrative that mirrors the protagonist's fractured psyche, inviting readers to experience the same sense of dislocation and existential doubt that plagues the narrator. This technique is crucial in conveying the novella's themes of alienation, the subjectivity of reality, and the fragmentary nature of human experience. The Blind Owl is structured in two distinct yet interconnected parts. The first section serves as a cryptic overture, hinting at the psychological disintegration that unfolds more fully in the second. Hedayat employs a technique of repetition with variation, where themes introduced in the first part are revisited and intensified in the second, creating a sense of déjà vu for the reader. This structure mirrors the narrator's fractured psyche. The repetitive nature of the narrative, with its repeatedly repeated themes, reflects the obsessive thought patterns of the protagonist. Moreover, the disjointed chronology challenges readers' sense of temporal orientation, mimicking the narrator's own distorted perception of time. Hedayat's use of time in the novella is particularly noteworthy. Rather than linear progression, time in The Blind Owl is cyclical, or perhaps more accurately, spiral or helical. Events and motifs recur, but with subtle shifts and intensifications. This cyclical yet discontinuous temporality serves multiple purposes. It reinforces the theme of eternal recurrence, reflects the narrator's psychological state, and contributes to the overall dreamlike hallucinatory atmosphere of the work. Hedayat's prose style in The Blind Owl is as intricate and mesmerizing as the story itself. His writing is characterized by a dreamlike quality that blurs the lines between reality and hallucination, mirroring the narrator's fragmented psyche. Repetition is a key feature of Hedayat's style. Phrases, images, and events recur throughout the novella, creating a sense of déjà vu and reinforcing the cyclical nature of the narrative. For instance, the phrase "the bitter end of a cucumber" appears 6 times, each repetition adding layers of meaning and unease. This repetitive style serves multiple purposes. Firstly, it reflects the narrator's obsessive thought patterns. Secondly, it creates a hypnotic rhythm that draws the reader deeper into the narrator's world. Thirdly, finally, it reinforces the theme of eternal recurrence. The circular narrative structure is another distinctive aspect of Hedayat's style. The story doesn't progress linearly, but instead loops back on itself, with events and images recurring in slightly altered forms. This circularity is evident in passages like, "2 months ago, no 2 months and 4 days have gone by." This precise yet arbitrary time reference exemplifies how Hedayat manipulates time in the narrative, creating a disorienting effect that mimics the narrator's distorted perception. Hedayat's prose is also marked by vivid, often surreal imagery. Descriptions like eyes, wet and glistening eyes, like black diamond balls thrown into tears, are both beautiful and unsettling, capturing the novella's blend of allure and horror. The author's use of stream-of-consciousness techniques further enhances the story's psychological depth. The narrator's thoughts flow freely, often without logical connections, mirroring the workings of a troubled mind. Hedayat's style also incorporates elements of Persian literary tradition, such as the use of symbolic imagery, while simultaneously breaking from tradition with its modernist techniques. This fusion of styles creates a unique prose that is both deeply rooted in Persian culture and groundbreaking in its approach. The overall effect of Hedayat's prose style is a narrative that feels both claustrophobic and expansive, drawing the reader into the narrator's psyche while simultaneously creating a sense of universal existential angst. The story also conveys themes of despair, identity, and perception. Before I delve into the chronology, let's survey the long view. Throughout the narrative, our unnamed main character fears his imminent deterioration, decay, and death. In his state of stupor, his renditions are repetitive and replete with recurring motifs. More on this later. He's an adult orphan of sorts, alienated from society. As the opening paragraph of the second section, after the prologue, reads, "His world is debased and wretched. He lives in a tiny room he describes as a tomb and a coffin, reflecting the themes of death and dying. He interacts with a few other prominent characters, a butcher, a peddler, a hearse driver, his nanny, and his wife, as well as some more minor characters, the narrator's mother, father, and uncle, his father-in-law and brother-in-law. There is also an ethereal girl, an old man under a cypress tree, a nag serpent, and sort of the blind owl. Additionally, some objects take on character-like significance, a bone-handled knife, a wine flask, and a rack jar, which is an ancient, glazed jar with a specific design painted on it, perhaps by the narrator himself. As we'll see, some of these characters may not be individuals, but rather manifestations of his psyche. Symbolism plays a crucial role in The Blind Owl, with Hedayat employing a rich tapestry of recurring motifs that deepen the novella's themes. The cypress tree, a prominent symbol in Persian culture, often associated with death, appears repeatedly in the narrative, underscoring the omnipresence of mortality in the narrator's world. Eyes are perhaps the most pervasive symbol in the work. As the narrator notes, they were slanting, turquoise eyes of supernatural, intoxicating radiance, which at once frightened and attracted, as though they had looked upon terrible, transcendental things, which it was given to no one but her to see. Eyes represent windows to the soul, sources of torment, and for the paranoid narrator, symbols of constant surveillance. The obsession with eyes also reflects the narrator's struggle with perception and reality. The bone-handled knife serves as a multifaceted symbol, embodying both creation and destruction. It's used in the narrator's artistic endeavours and his violent acts, blurring the line between art and violence. This duality is echoed in the narrator's statement, "I do not know why I went to her bed whilst holding a bone-handled jackknife in my hand," which we'll revisit later. Other notable symbols include the wine flask, which represents both heritage and potential liberation, or destruction. The geometric houses symbolise the alien and oppressive nature of the external world. The recurring taste of the bitter end of a cucumber possibly symbolises disillusionment or the acrid taste of reality. The shadow, per Carl Jung, represents the narrator's alter ego or subconscious self. These symbols interweave throughout the narrative, creating a rich subtext that reinforces the novella's themes of death, alienation, and the blurring of reality and illusion. The story begins with a sort of prologue that foreshadows what's to come. Is not everything that I feel, see and think something entirely imaginary, something utterly different from reality?